What's up, everybody? Welcome to season 3 of the Throw Show. Season 3.
You didn't know there were seasons, but now we're on season 3.
We didn't know either until yesterday. Season 3 is pretty crazy. I wonder how many episodes we've done totally. I wonder how many throws we've reviewed.
A lot. Definitely a lot.
So this morning when I was driving, I was reviewing, maybe I shouldn't publicly admit to reviewing a technical throw while I'm driving, but I was reviewing Nick Arrhenius' throws, sending him technical analysis, and I'm like, I wonder how many of Nick's throws I've reviewed. Then I just started to think, I wonder how many throws I've reviewed in my career. Then I started to think about, like, even just this show, how many throws have we reviewed?
Yeah, a lot.
So that means we're smarter than everybody, and everybody should just listen to
that's
us.
how it works. Yeah.
Because we're going to go into the first big throw for the year, Trevor's Pride and Joy. Bam!
Yo, I can, hold on. Let me see here. Oh, there we go. Volume was way too loud. I can see why people were commenting like, yo, is that Joe Kovacs? Like, he honestly, like, just like how is
His left arm?
like his left arm, and I feel like even his right leg, like, he does kind of look like Joe.
But he doesn't. Joe doesn't fall in like that, though.
No, he doesn't.
Okay,
But
so that's a good question.
Still,
Is Jeff trying to mimic Walsh, Joe, or a combo? That's a question for Tyler, I guess. We should.
yeah, right. I mean, I know he's done multiple. He's had multiple
And Ryan
models,
Krauser, yeah.
at different points. So I think
My big thing.
which are all good people to emulate.
I've been telling him now when he's home that and I talked to Tyler about this, that his left foot like stops out of the back almost, and then he sort of falls over it instead of coming around it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he would come around that left more out of the back, his left leg wouldn't be so late at the front.
Mm-hmm.
But he does catch that so well.
But so this is almost a meter PR, I believe.
I think it was. This was 80 centimeters further than his next best throw.
Right. And I just learned the throw before this, he threw like 16 meters.
Yeah, he threw.
And then came out and threw 1965 on his next throw.
18. So what Tyler was saying to me, he's like, he has the wildest exchange, but he's like, he threw 1880. I want to say twice. I think he might have had a 17 and a 16.
So 3 total throws over his PR, his previous PR.
What was he doing though to throw 7 or 16 meters?
I think when I was talking to him, he said he fouled one and then wanted to get back in the rhythm, and it just didn't quite connect.
Yeah, that's fine.
But still, but yeah, 1965.
Dude, that's
a big throw.
That throw is huge.
Yeah.
Like last year, Eric opened up at 1966, and I was like, "Yo, this is gonna be a good year." And Eric, had a great year, 2050.
Yeah,
And he did go 1998 then, the next meet, but like this throw's huge. It's enormous.
And like Jeff is just the epitome of just keep doing it and you will get better.
Tell us what he threw as a freshman in high school.
As a freshman, this is after training for 3 years. After training for 3 years, it's not like he just started and obviously noob gains, like whenever you start, you progress really fast. He was training for 3 years and threw 38 feet as a freshman in high school.
38 feet as a freshman after 3 years of training, and then just opened up as a sophomore.
Right.
1965.
Yeah.
Great job, Trevor.
I mean,
and Tyler.
Yeah,
Coach Birdolph.
There's a lot of people that's had a huge impact. Yeah, especially Tyler now as he's in Maryland. So, yeah, that's big.
Do you think Rudy's like Jeff's therapist there?
Maybe.
Rudy came in yesterday. And I was like, "Oh, you just had to see Jeff, didn't you?" And he's like, Nope, just saw him 3 days ago. Another PA thrower, Mallory Kaufman. Jeez. And I think we did talk about Coach Ott getting the job at Penn State, which I think is maybe we could refer to that as the Deion Sanders hire of the track and field world, at least the throws world. If there's a throws coach equivalent to Deion. But in all seriousness, he did coach, Brooke Anderson to a world title. So that's a huge hire for them. And this is, Mallory Kaufman, who's a state champ from PA, and opened it up at 17-17. All 3 throws in the finals were all over 17 meters. So I think you're going to see her throw, creeping up close to 18 meters this year outdoors. Yeah. If not indoors. We'll see.
I think that's what everyone, all my throwers always ask what they should try, what they should be hitting their first meet. And I'm always like, if you're just within range of your PR, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. And it's Mallory, I think this is probably just a little bit under PR maybe, but you don't I think now Jeff's the, not the
anomaly.
Yeah, the anomaly, but
Jeff, we didn't even mention Jeff broke Josh Awatunde's facility record on that throw.
That's crazy.
That's another thing that we completely forgot to bring up.
Oh man, yeah, that's nuts.
I'm so glad I remember that because he's not going to be able to say that to me.
Yeah, that's a big start for Mallory.
Josh Sabota.
So I think this was the lead after.
Yeah,
week
this
one.
is This is the Kentucky dude.
That's a big throw. It's crazy just where the NCAA is now. I mean, we're just going to say that constantly, but
he had huge throws last year, if I remember correctly. And it's interesting because I want to see someone like him. Easy, good movement out of the back, gets decently to the middle, in strokes 20-26. Good patient. All these, it's interesting too. A lot of these collegiate throwers are starting to use that left arm in the middle, putting it a little bit more level, Joe and Krauser.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see, is he going to be the guy that just throughout the entire year is, the new Pippery, basically.
Yeah, right.
I think it's like last year we had every single video had Pippery in it. Mm-hmm. I actually think we might have had every single video with Pippery in it.
Quite possibly.
So it's going to be interesting to see who sort of takes on that dominance, and
right.
if there is that dominance, because Pippery was that dominant in the collegiate system.
Yeah.
And post collegiate. Shelby Frank coming in. This is the current. I believe this is still the current NCAA lead in the weight throw, 22-21. Really, really solid throw, and it's also just crazy. Women's weight, they just rip on the finish.
I know, it's just nice and controlled through the circle, but then just that last turn, just
boom.
Yeah.
I wonder what she can power snatch.
Yeah.
Dr. B used to always say that, someone like her, she looks pretty tall. He would say that they would be the best discus thrower because you start to pull and they're so rotational.
Mm.
I think she does throw discus. This is where I've got to brush up on my NCAA knowledge from last year. We got to do some better prep.
Right? We got to do research. Trevor. Yeah.
If we want to make the jump to ESPN, we need to start stepping it up.
Get those big deals. Tucker Smith, 1805 glider. How about that?
Is this? This is an open attack on Lucas Warning.
What Lucas throw his freshman year?
Lucas's PR his freshman year, if I remember correctly, was 16-14. Yeah, I'm almost positive he hit that at the Patriot League outdoor meet, and he threw 14 meters. What did he throw at that Monmouth meet?
1460 or 1480. But I remember he was 1 centimeter off qualifying for junior nationals because that was the.
Yeah. So I actually think that might be the mark. Maybe it was.
Yeah, it's 1 centimeter off.
Yeah.
So Tucker's on pace to beat Lucas at this point,
yeah.
at least.
I mean, Lucas's collegiate PR, I think, was 1898, if I remember correctly. And he threw 70-plus feet in high school.
Yeah. That's awesome to come in with the 16 and just, not really even skip a beat.
So with him, Zane at Michigan, and then someone like Gary Moore, Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of younger guys like that were bombers that are going to be coming out this freshman year. So it's going to be interesting to see how they transfer with the heavier shot.
Yeah.
Question for you guys: could he throw like 20 to mid 20s in college with a glide?
Okay, so could Tucker Smith throw mid 20s with the glide in college? I was thinking he looks pretty tall. So is he going to switch to the spin or not? I think he could throw 20-50 in the glide. Dude.
Yeah, I don't see why
not.
Who
was that one Wisconsin kid? Did he glide or did he spin that through 2003 back in like 2016, 2017?
There was an Oklahoma guy who glided a few years back.
Kevin Book out glided.
No. Oh, yeah, I think you might be thinking of the guy who was from Oklahoma.
Okay.
19s, but I don't think of anything from Wisconsin.
The Wisconsin kid, Danny Block.
Spinner.
Okay. I couldn't remember if he was a glide. I guess it makes sense because he's a better discus thrower.
So what do you think of his glide technique?
I think his left's a little high, gets a little deep. It's pretty solid. It's not crazy. What's funny is watching, the first thing I noticed was his left arm is similar to Timmerman and Gunther. I personally, for Americans, I don't know why, I've just never really liked that because I think here's where my argument would be.
Now, can you explain what that is?
Okay, so when he loads, he brings his left arm back out of the back and then almost does a mini recatch where he lengthens it. I think the difference here is with Timmerman, when he would come out of the back, his hips would be much lower and that left foot would be this high off the concrete the whole way, which forces that right to be so quick.
Mm-hmm.
I think his right leg's pretty good. I think if he would clean up that left side a little bit, not get as deep. I like the toe, and then I like the toe reverse where it's the pinky toe and then get into the heel after that. I think with that lower left, that'll help with that finish. I think he's solid. He's got good feeling.
Yeah.
Again, this is something where if he sticks with this, dude, he might throw 19-plus indoors. I don't know. He looks big.
Yeah.
I don't know how strong he is, but it's
if I believe we were saying earlier he threw 74 to 12. I don't see why that couldn't translate to a 19-meter throw.
Yeah.
For sure.
And he's probably being, I think the glide at the collegiate level, you can be a very, very consistent All-American.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the kid from Princeton, indoor All-American last year. It makes it so much easier to compete when there's a lot of pressure on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that takes us to Krauser's new glide series drill.
That was his first throw, and this is just 2 weeks ago.
1.25 meters.
Definitely looks like an easier tempo throw to definitely adding a little speed to it.
Yeah.
Especially with that left leg, and that's where he really generates a lot of his speed through the middle.
What do you think about his left heel dropping on that second throw out of the back?
Let's see. I feel like that's what he typically does.
He does, yeah. That's basically how that rule came up.
Right.
He looks so good, though. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's maybe.
Do you think he's been shifting more to the
to the right? Yes.
To the right, out of the back.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's more. I know he had a bit last year. I don't know if he's more or less, or more or the same as where he was last year, to that side.
The other thing that I wanted to point out that I noticed is he doesn't he used to almost hug himself, but he doesn't do it as much. It's not as prevalent. I think this is the whole big factor too. This is such a good video of He's the world record holder. He's a 2-time Olympic champion. He's the reigning world champion. And guess what? He didn't win the Diamond League.
Mm-hmm.
He knows, he didn't win Indoor Worlds yet. And he knows he's got to get better. It's like he's still making technical changes and technical improvements.
Right.
They're going to the drawing board. They're looking, all right, let's see what we can do. Talking with Nick Hyde about that right heel. Look at Krauser's right heel there. That he does such a good job of just staying down and rotating.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great. And those those Olympic standards just came out. Are we going to go over those?
Could briefly.
Okay, I have them on my phone, so we can just pop them up on my cell phone.
Yeah. How about this?
Jaime.
Savage.
So Jaime told
That's
me
crazy.
her best jerk in her life was 100 kilos. And yesterday she hit 115. What? Yeah. She hit 115 yesterday. And then she said her best snatch ever was
So she just power snatched her best jerk.
At the time. But now it's 115. And she also said her best snatch ever was 103. So right now she's like, I think I could hit 105 in the next like 4 to 6 weeks. Her best clean ever was 136. So if she could get to like 140.
Yeah.
But she's just such a powerhouse, man.
Yeah.
Even today.
That's
Today
nuts.
she looked good when we were throwing. Today she said her hands weren't as cold as they were yesterday. Yesterday she was saying it was
Like
the coldest
Jalen
she's
Hurts.
ever been. Yeah. Yeah, she's a powerhouse, and I think she's going to have a huge year.
Yeah, so for those, we probably mentioned it, I don't know, might have been only on our last one.
Oh, maybe that Jaime was moving here.
But
yeah,
so it's been what,
she's
4 months now?
Yeah, she's going on to her 5th program.
Okay, yeah.
Is it weird that I measure time by programs?
I mean, it makes sense. What's this one called?
Program 5 to 70 meters.
Classic. Yeah, so definitely seems, I mean, even from I was out for a bit and come back, like it seems like she's melded right into the group and is having a really good time and really getting after her training. So it's cool to watch her just kind of just get more and more comfortable here as time goes on. But
huge.
Yeah, excited to see what she's going to do this year.
Yeah. Some more garage strength stuff. I would say we've got some of this is just the most wild. Possibly, I don't know if I've ever seen a shot putter. The only shot putter I remember was I think it was a guy from Serbia might have hang snatched 170. Kalazanak maybe it was, or as.
I think he just powered it from the floor.
Okay, so I remember when Eric sent me this 165 when I was down in Colombia, and I was thinking like this might be the biggest snatch that I've seen from a shot putter as far as like basically a power snatch. Now I'm sure that there's heavier ones out there, especially because there's total animals. And the other thing we should throw in here is that Eric again jerked 230 last night and then took 241 and had it in the split and just didn't really recover, so he didn't hit it. But it's like, dude, he's a powerhouse, and I think he's going to have a good year because he's starting to dial in his technique. He's starting to feel a little bit better out of the back, and he's getting that left to the center a little bit better. So he's working hard on that right side in the middle so that he's not as leany with his chest. And, I think if he can execute that technique in the circle with this type of twitch, he's going to drop a bomb.
Yeah.
He's going to have to. That Olympic standard's nice.
Right.
All right, Throwers Universe. Chase Ely, 1782 with a shot that is just a hair under 11 pounds. So what would this be? 4.75 kg is going to be, about 10 and a quarter or 10 and just shy of a half.
10 and a half,
Yeah.
Maybe.
Dude, and she just stays on it. on it. Looks better out of the back. Left knee's good. Right comes down well. Catches that middle and just, again, just pushes for days.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yep.
That's big.
That's a huge throw. And that's the thing. She's going to get to a point, I think, very similar to Krauser, where she just goes in, confident, first throw,
Right.
and essentially is done.
Just sets the tone.
Yeah, exactly. Here's Alex, post baby. Alecki is like 6 weeks or 8 weeks old now. I think this was from like a week or two ago that he had sent me this. Cyro, at least 10 feet. Some of the stuff that we're working on is getting him to be a little bit wider and staying more level with that left arm so it doesn't dip as much, and attacking that, being more balanced in the middle. He's trying to get, he had asked me, like, what do you think Jaime does that could carry over to men's discus? And I said, I think her high point could help with certain throwers.
Yeah. How many days, how often is he back to a normal training schedule?
Like
Or
2
is
to
it-
3 days right now.
Okay.
Still.
Yeah.
He wants to do that for like basically until the new year,
Okay.
and then go back to a normal training schedule.
Yeah.
But that includes 3 days of lifts and then 2 to 3 days of throws.
Okay.
Oh, geez. I didn't know we were doing this. This wasn't, I don't think this was Lincoln's best throw on that day.
Okay.
Actually, one of the ones that you sent me when I was in Colombia, Trevor, was one
Yeah.
of his better ones that he's had.
He hit a good position at the front on that one.
Yeah.
Well, so go over what Lincoln's doing here.
Okay, so he's doing a heel turn out of the back. So he's essentially taking my understanding of this technique is sort of like double layered. Okay. So it was a German movement way back that I believe that's where Eric Cadee got some of it, but I don't believe he did a heel turn out of the back. Julian Ruck used it. So it was basically used in the discus. Julian Ruck threw like this. After I think he won NCAAs when he was at Texas Tech, and then he transferred to UCLA, and he switched to this technique. And my understanding was, this is the second layer of my comprehension, is that first is Germany influenced Cadee, okay? Second is where this gets interesting, and I don't know if I should say all this publicly, is a certain coach that was at UCLA that also coached at the Olympic Training Center and also just got inducted into the Track and Field Hall of Fame, had a biomechanist like at the training center or something along these lines. Basically, he was saying, how can somebody throw 24 meters clean? And this person,
74. Oh,
with the shot. And so this researcher was like, based off of extending the side, like the distance traveled and everything, and the positions in the circle, this is what the technique, what they would need. Now, I don't know if this researcher had access to that footage or if they just came up with this themselves separately. And so I have a very close friend who showed me some videos of shot putters doing this. And there's even apparently a discussion that one of the best shot putters in the entire world right now has actually tried this technique for a very short time frame. Or for a time frame. I don't know the duration, but they decided to go back to their current style of throwing. And so my friend who had the footage of a high schooler who was a really good high school thrower trying this out and moving was like, he came to me and he's like, hey, I think you should try this. I think you should, you should try it. And ironically, we actually just released a YouTube video on Garage Strength where we talk about experiments with athletes that aren't as, it's not as stressful of a situation. I'm not going to do this experiment on Tamand or Eric. And Mason's here. So I was like, yo, let's try this with Mason, see if it would work with him. And then the big one was the person who showed me this was like, I think you should try it with your son. And I was like, hey, let's put his whole career on the line. And see what happens. So now I think when he figures out, and Trevor, you've been coaching him a bit too, when he figures out, because he's left-handed, if he would come out over his right a little bit more, and I want his left high point, his left leg high point should be more like on the back right part of the circle, and then cut in and hold that middle. And I think that one throw that you had sent me, he really did a good job of holding that middle position. That right leg was faster. And I also think that makes it easier for him to turn, and he gets to a good position at the front.
Right.
The thing is with Lincoln is like he's getting really tall and he is pretty strong, but like, you know, he has throws where it looks one throw looks like this, then the next throw looks great. So it's like right now he's just figuring out that body awareness. I think it's going to turn into, I think he'll be able to be a launch pad with it, but the discussion is going to come back to whether or not is it going to add distance to his, if he would have thrown traditionally with the spin.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
if he breaks a high school shot record, like I've told him, the only reason I really like, I'll love him as much as anybody else loves their child, as long as he breaks Michael Carr's high school shot record, then that technique will prove out. That's not. I have said that to him, but I'm joking when I say it. Sort of. So that's like the story behind it, and there is footage of it on YouTube too that I had sent to Jason. I want to say it was like the 56 or 60 Olympics. You can see it, East Germany.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean,
and the guy that did that, I didn't like. He had like an Alekna arm in the middle. He dropped his one side hard, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but I don't think you should do it with this technique.
Yeah, it'll be cool to track how he does going forward.
Yeah,
with this.
Okay, so this takes us into Sam 470 triple. I think this. So Sam hit a 470 triple. He hit a 265 triple in back squat, all within like 3 or 4 days, which is insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's insane.
So this is a big thing right now that a lot of people in the track and field world, I guess should know or might know, is that
I've heard something.
Yeah, maybe is that Sam was diagnosed with testicular cancer. And so he went through about 6 to 8 weeks of testing and like 6 weeks of testing and figuring out what was going on, and then actually had the testicle removed and had to take off from training and I mean, obviously take off from training, then had to wait 2 to 4 weeks to then get blood work done to make sure the cancer hadn't spread. So he's dealing with this currently and just started to come back into the gym after some time off and started throwing again and lifting again. And by all accounts, currently feels okay, and that he did get the blood results back, that it hadn't spread, which is how he got to come back into the gym so quickly. So that's like some, I think, real life stuff that is impacting us directly, but more so Sam, obviously, and just putting that even further into perspective on what his value is in the sport, really, because he feels like he's got a lot more that he can do, and I think that he's doing his best of taking this terrible thing and turning it into, as and just rolling with it as well as he possibly can.
Right.
So. I don't know, Trevor, if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's, I think just what you said, it's a testament to, clearly what his goals are and how he sees he can perform going into this next year, just how he's, jumping right back into it. I think that's pretty cool. And just doing what he can, despite, everything he's going through to stay positive. I mean, he really stays positive every time I've talked to him. He's extremely positive and, and just is moving forward. So, yeah, I mean.
But this lift came 3 days before his surgery. So basically he had figured out all this stuff was happening, and I think we talked the day before this lift, and he's like, is it okay if I just go for broke on like every single lift possible? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine. Go ahead. I don't know what else you have to lose. I think his response was, I know I have one thing to lose. But it's funny because Sam's urgency, and I'm going to pull up my phone because Sam's urgency is also based around these standards, and if we can share them on the screen. Discus, they moved to 67.20, and the qualification period starts in July of 23. So July 1st of 23, 67.20 for the men's discus, women's discus 64.50. What's crazy is that Sam was saying something to Jaime like, hey, yeah, did you see the standards, like 67.20? And she's like, yeah, this is easy. What's the problem? And he's like, it's 67.20. And she's like, you've thrown this. You just threw this last year. Whatever. It's not like you're going to throw that far. And she was like, muy facile, 64.50 is muy facile. She like doesn't even get phased by it.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the cool part of like keeping everybody in check is that she believes in everybody more so than they do even to a point.
Yeah.
She had even brought up to me about Cece throwing it because she thinks Cece can throw it. So I had messaged Cece, yo, you ready for the 64.50? And she's like, I want to throw 64.88 because that's the African record. So that's where it's like all of these things that come out, and now the elite level athletes, 21.50 for the men's shot. But I know that a lot of, I know Taman knows he can throw that. I know Eric knows he can throw that. I know all these, 1880 for the women's shot. It's like the distances are there, and they are deeper. They're way deeper than ever before. But at the same time, I don't think the women's shot changed from Tokyo. But it's still like keeps it like it's possible. You can do it. Is it far? Yes, but complaining about it isn't going to help. And also, we know that it's probably going to go down to top 32 that gets in anyway off of world rankings. Right. So that matters as well. So, yeah, it's going to be an exciting time over the next year and a half, from now basically, this week all the way through till Paris.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy is to think about Paris is really only like a year and a half away. It's like 20 months.
Wow.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming up on it.
So hopefully some big
24.
throws start rolling after July. All right, the first episode of season 3.
Season 3.
Yeah, the throws show was a total banger. We went over all the big throws this year. Went deep into some of the stuff around Sam, what Jaime's doing in training, and even included some of the throwback of Jeff's big success while also seeing everything else that happened.
So real quick, what can people expect from like going forward through this year?
What can people expect?
Like, I mean, we're gonna
Does that mean
we
that
come
we-
out with an episode every 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah.
Right. And we're gonna be covering major throws. Not today was a lot of our throwers, but we typically cover like the best
NCAA
throwers in the
lead,
world, the
pretty much.
NCAA. We cover our
And our
throwers who
news.
are often top
Some
of
of
the
the best,
NCAA world also, but
Yeah,
high schoolers, big high school throws too.
right.
And any just like topics that come up.
Training stuff
just
if we see
randomly.
something crazy
Yeah.
like Jaime snatching a PR.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, every 2 weeks. Stay tuned. Next episode of Throw Show. Until that time, till next time, peace.